Okay, so this is my everyday carry first aid or trauma bag. And I call it an everyday carry bag because I take this thing with me everywhere. This goes with me. It fits in my gym bag, which is my backpack that I take on bus trips or car rides and things of that sort. And then I use it as a gym bag when I go to the gym. So this goes with me everywhere. Now, right now I have it set up for tomorrow's event. Not everything that's in here right now I'm going to be, I carry every single day with me. Most of it I do, but there's some extra added things in here for the purpose of tomorrow's event that I normally wouldn't carry every day, especially to the gym. But I do carry this with me everywhere. It goes in my gym bag. If I'm going out with a friend, I usually have my backpack on me. And when I have that backpack on me, it's a given that I have this on me too. I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Because with my luck, I would forget it, and that would be the day that I need it. The day I don't have it on me is the day that I would need it the most, kind of a thing. So I always like to be prepared and have it on me just in case. Not to say that anything would happen at a gym, and the gym employees, I'm sure, would take care of it, but you get the point. All right, enough of my blabber. Let's get on with what I carry. Oh, and one more thing. This is also a hip bag or a butt bag or whatever you want to call it. And this goes around your waist and snaps into place. So it's kind of like a duty belt minus the gun and the other things that cops carry, because I'm not a cop. But I guess, or like a tool belt. There you go. It's a tool belt, but it's a tool belt filled with medical supplies. All right. Starting over here, I'm going to open this up here, the side pocket here. This side pocket here, I have a few things. I carry low-dose aspirin. Now, the reason why I carry this is because, like I mentioned before, I'm certified in basic life support. And one of the things that we went over in basic life support that wasn't really talked about in the CPR EED course is heart attacks, and more specifically, the different symptoms that men have compared to women. And they also talked about what you can do if you suspect that someone might be having a heart attack. And one of those is chewing aspirin, baby aspirin, but this is actually also considered safe to give or ideal to give. I hope I never ever find myself in that situation where this is needed or anything is needed, especially the AED. But again, I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I do have a wrist BP monitor, and then I also carry glucose tabs as well for low blood sugar. The ones that I believe they dissolve under your tongue or dissolve in your mouth. Again, for low blood sugar types of emergencies, if you will. And then in here, I carry just normal, everyday use Band-Aids. And these are for, bigger wounds, like medium-sized scrapes and cuts and, knee abrasions and things of that sort. And then in this compartment here, gloves. These are latex-free medical exam gloves. I actually have a latex allergy. I just break out in hives. So every single thing that I carry is latex-free, because I understand that there's a lot of people who may be sensitive to that. So it's just a universal precaution type of a thing. Make everything latex-free just in case. And then we're going to move over here to this side now. And in here, I carry these things called arm sleeves. And basically what they are is that these are plastic bags. They're kind of like a grocery bag Or, you know, the bag that you put vegetables in when you go to the store and you want to buy like fresh vegetables and you put it in like that green bag? It's kind of like the same thing. It's like a grocery bag. And basically what it is it has these little things like elastic on both ends. And the idea is it goes up from your wrist all the way up to your elbow. And what it does is that it's supposed to protect from skin exposure to bodily fluids. Now, when I'm doing a first aid event, let's say tomorrow when it's going to be cold out, I have a winter coat that I wear that matches the uniform that I wear, which I will do a video on probably tomorrow when I have to get ready for the event tomorrow. But I normally I just wear like a t-shirt or whatever in the summertime when I do these events. But obviously when it gets colder out, I have a sweatshirt that I put on for like fall events, and then for the winter events I have that winter coat. Now, I still don't want to get bodily fluids on my coats or anything of that sort. I just don't. So this is just like an extra layer of protection from like blood, vomit, things of that sort. Anytime you're dealing with potential bodily fluids, it's this portion of the trauma bag or butt bag or whatever. I have a cat tourniquet, obviously for heavy bleeding. This is very important. And then I have 2 gauze rolls. And then some alcohol hand sanitizer. And then in here, I have same thing as the other side, but for like finger wounds or paper cuts or, small little, normal everyday use bandages or Band-Aids. The side here, clipped here, I have scissors for like gauze and things of that sort. And then I also have trauma shears, very important. And now to these 3 main compartments here. I'm going to open this one up. Again, this is all set up for tomorrow. I just carry a whole bunch of different things in here. Different types of ACE bandages for like, smaller wrist size, elbow size things, injuries. Eye care solution. Triple antibiotic ointment I carry. I have 2 triangular bandages. I carry a whole array of surgical dressings, 4x4s, gauze pads, and then I also carry 2 burn sheets or burn gel dressings for traumatic, sterile trauma hydrogel burn dressings. There is going to be a bonfire tomorrow, even though it's a daytime thing, which is kind of weird, but I guess that's what they're doing. So I hope I don't have to use these, but I made sure that I have these in my bag for tomorrow's event, especially if you're dealing with fire. You never know. Because you know what they say, if you're going to play with fire, eventually you're going to get burned. So, likeliness of that happening is a little bit more than it would be in an event where there's no fire involved, but whatever. And then I also carry 2 different types of medical tape. I understand that people are sensitive to vinyl tape. I prefer the vinyl tape because it holds a lot better to skin than the paper stuff, but I do carry paper stuff as well because I don't want people to have an allergic reaction. That's the last thing I want when I'm trying to help them. Cause an even worse problem. But anyways, all right. Now we're going to move on into this compartment here. Pretty self-explanatory, but on a different level. A lot of the events that I do are family friendly. In fact, every event that I've done is family friendly. Everyone's welcome. It's not like an adults only thing. And pretty much every single event that I've done since I started this whole first aid thing, there's been kids there. Tomorrow's event especially is geared towards like younger kids and things of that sort. So it was suggested to me that I start carrying bandages that are colorful or kid friendly, or maybe have like a design or something on them for kids. So I went out and I got these band-aids that are multicolored for kids. So yeah, I have these colorful bandages or band-aids that are for kids. So I don't know how well you can see it through the screen, but this one's, I think, like yellow or green. I got a whole array of different colors. And, I think that usually goes a long way when dealing with kids, putting a smile on their face. So, I think they're really going to like that. Here you go. Here's a pink Band-Aid for you, or a blue Band-Aid for you. And then I have a BLS reference sheet. I always make sure I have a reference sheet with me. And then burn dressings for small little, smaller burns. The other ones I showed you are for more traumatic burns. These ones are for more, burnt your finger or something like that, or something very small. And that's it for that. Now we're going to move on to this one. This one is the most important one of them all. This actually used to be my original trauma bag. So before I moved everything to this thing here, which is much more compactable, much more easier to carry around, everything was in this big red bag here. But it's since become my AED bag, / CPR bag, because I have things in here for that too. I noticed that when I'm doing these events and things, and I do a lot of walking around and all that stuff, sometimes I bring it with me when I'm walking around, just walking around, making sure people are okay. Sometimes I do bring it with me just in case someone were to go down and I'm right there near, or I do get radioed to go help someone. But other times I like to leave it at the first aid station itself. And it's really not a good idea to have a expensive piece of equipment just sitting out there kind of unprotected. I mean, it's in a case, but still. So I just wanted an extra layer of protection, so to speak. And this comes with a shoulder strap, so I can just put it around me and take it to wherever I need to go to help someone if need be. And all right, so you open this up. And you have, here it is, the AED bag. So AED fits right in here. It's nice and snug. And there's padding on both sides. So there's padding here, thick padding here, and some very thick padding over here. This is the AED itself. Now, like I mentioned before, I do have to put this through a test. And basically what that is I have to make sure that the battery's working, which I'll check here in a minute, and then I'm going to turn it on and make sure that it's still functional, meaning you can hear everything, which I'm going to do here in a few minutes, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'll save that for last, but I'll keep it out of the bag. But this compartment here, I have an extra set of adult electrodes for the AED. I do have an extra set of pediatric electrodes in here, and another set in here too. So I think there's two sets. There's one that's attached, and then there's one that that's in the back here for pediatric emergencies, or for pediatric patients that may need to be shocked with the defibrillator. But you'll see that once I open this up and get to that part. But so extra set of pads. I also have more ACE bandages, but these are for more, severe, bigger sized injuries or whatever. sprains, things of that sort. Then in here I have an overdose response kit. So I do carry Narcan. That's one thing I forgot to mention about that bag there. I know I mentioned there were 3 compartments and I only got to 2. So there is Narcan that I carry in there. I do carry Narcan, 4 milligrams, and it's a nasal spray. Yes, I am trained and certified to use this. Anybody could use Narcan, though, but I do have training. Never had to use this in real life yet, obviously. I do carry 4 doses, so I carry 2 4 milligrams, and then I carry 2 more in here. Really important, I want to mention, if anybody out there is looking into carrying Narcan, there is an expiration date. Always check your expiration dates. That's the most important part. Don't want to give anything that's expired. These expire next year, so January 2026, and then the ones that I have in here expire in, I think, March of 2026, or 2027, I believe. So these expire later than these, which is why I have those in here for now. Back up. Overdose response kit comes with a CPR barrier device and a set of gloves and some sterile alcohol prep pads, and then I have another CPR pocket mask. So there's 2 different types of barrier devices. There's a barrier device, a normal barrier device, and then there's a pocket mask. I'm going to open up the overdose response kit to show you what a regular barrier device looks like. So this is just the regular run-of-the-mill CPR barrier device, and the object is that it's supposed to prevent you from actually making contact with somebody else's mouth. Now, if you take like a normal run-of-the-mill CPR course, their main focus is on chest compressions and less on breaths. There are certain situations where breaths are necessary, like drowning or asthma or things of that sort. But their emphasis now is more chest compressions than anything else. But the BLS course I took focused on both. So the way I'm certified and trained to give breaths as well. Now, obviously, if the person's like a close friend or family member, that's up to you if you want to use one of these or not. You don't have to. And you don't necessarily have to use these if you're working on a stranger, but with universal precautions and obviously all the viruses going around these days, and you never know what somebody may have. It's always a good idea, unless you really know the person, to have this, or just do chest compressions if you don't have access to this. I don't necessarily feel comfortable using this particular one. I mean, I will, and I would. I more prefer the pocket mask, which is a mask that goes over your face, kind of like an anesthesia mask that they put on you when you get put under. In fact, I'll open it up and I'll show you. Actually, I'll do that when I do the AED test. But it's just a mask that goes over your mouth and nose, the person's mouth and nose, and then you breathe into the mask. You're not actually breathing into this little piece here. You're actually breathing into like a mask. You have a little bit more protection between you and the other person with the pocket mask than you do the regular barrier device. And then in this compartment here, in both compartments here on the side, I have instant cold packs. So if somebody gets injured or whatever, things of that sort, it's an instant cold compress. So you just punch it and it automatically turns cold. So there you go. That's what I carry in all my medical bags. And what I carry in the AED bag as well. So now let's get on to the finale of this video, and I'm going to test the defibrillator and explain a little bit about what an AED is. Important pieces of my first aid supplies that I carry for events. Again, I don't carry this in my everyday life. And that is the Heart Start Defibrillator by Philips. Now, really quickly, let me just explain how I was able to get a hold of this thing, because they're incredibly expensive and very hard to come by. There is an organization called Heart AED that allowed me to borrow this AED for my events. And basically what it is I don't own this. It's basically me. It's a loaner. I'm borrowing it. But basically what it is until they need it back for some reason, like if somebody else needs one for something and they're out of loaners and they need another loaner, then they'll call me and I have to give this back to them. But in the meantime, I get to hold on to it until they basically need it again. Which I haven't been contacted yet by anybody, so I'm assuming they don't need it yet. Which works out because of the event tomorrow. So the Heart Start Defibrillator by Philips. This came with, you have extra adult pads here, and then there's extra pediatric pads in here. So opening this up, because I got to put this through a test. Now, the reason why I'm explaining this to you is because a lot of public places these days have AEDs, and anybody can use a defibrillator. It's recommended that you're trained and certified to use it, obviously. But it's basically a computer for the heart, and the machine basically does what it's supposed to do. It's not like you have to charge to 360 and then you charge it to 360 and you have to decide the energy. The energy is automatic, which is why there's pediatric pads and adult pads. The pediatric pads, basically what they're designed to do is they're designed to give the energy levels that are necessary for children. So not the adult level of electricity. They're getting a lower dose, so to speak, of electricity. That's why their pads are labeled blue and why they're different. Also, you'll notice that the placement is different too. 2 pads, obviously one on the side, one on the upper part of the chest. And then you have, for the peds, one goes on their back and the other goes on the center of their chest. This is from 0 to 8 years old, 55 pounds. And then these are for 8+ years old. So if it's a 10 or 11-year-old, then you can use the adult. But if it's 8 and under, or 0 to 8, so 8 or under, then you use the pediatric pads. So it's a lower dose of electricity, same concept. It's going to deliver the electricity, but it's a lower dose, which is needed for peds instead of adults. This comes with the thing of trauma shears, but I have mine, so I probably wouldn't use this if I needed to. Now, and another thing, you must make sure that these are not expired. They do have expiration dates on them. This one is used before 09/02/2025. So before September 2nd, 2025, then these will probably be expired or will be expired. Both of them are the same. All right. So now let's get on with the actual test of the AED. So this particular AED comes with 3 different options of buttons. There's 3 different buttons on the side. So this is the main power button. This is how you turn it on. And one of the things that you need to check for is to make sure that the light is green. If the light is green, that means that obviously the battery is working. It's a good battery. It's not a dead battery. If it flashes red means that the battery is basically dead. It's green, which means it's working. Now, there is a center button here with an eye on it, and that is a CPR assist. So you basically push this button, And what it does is that it talks you through CPR. So it counts the compressions for you. There's a metronome so you can follow along to the beat. And then it also tells you like pause to give breaths if that's what you choose to do, or if you just continue with whatever. And then it says analyzing heart rhythm, stand clear of patient. Then you stand clear, shock advised. If it says shock advised, then you press this orange button with the electric bolt on it, and that's to deliver the electricity. I'm not going to do any of that here, but what I am going to do to test and make sure, because I have to do this, that it's functioning properly, is I'm going to push this green button, and basically it's just going to say that it's on. It is kind of loud, but we're going to go for it, and we're going to test this thing out. So like I mentioned before, there's 3 buttons: CPR assist here, shock button, and then the power button. So I'm going to push this button down.
Begin by removing all clothing from the patient's chest. Cut clothing if needed.
Okay. I think
when patient's chest is bare.
Okay. And there you go. Then you just power it off. So it works. Nice. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Philips Heart Start Defibrillator and the finale of the video of what I carry with all my first aid supplies. So, that's the video, everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.